Since the fall of Khazad-dûm and the death of Durin, the great dwarven kingdoms of Moria has fallen into ruin and now lies in the clutches of the vile Moria goblins and the creatures under their control. The splendor of Moria is all but erased, and the dwarven city of Dwarrowdelf now lies crumbling and in darkness. Torches have been replaced with cobwebs, and the mines resemble more of a tomb than a lord's hall. Welcome to the Critical Focus channel and this Army Focus episode, which features Moria and all of its army components. So let's start, as always, with the army composition. This army may include the Balrog, Durbus, the Goblin King of Moria, Groblog, Drosag the Beastcaller, Ashrak, Goblin Moria Captains, Moria Goblin Shamans, Moria Black Shield Captains, Moria Black Shield Shamans, Dragons, Cave Drakes, the Watcher in the Water, Moria Goblin Warriors, Moria Goblin Drums, Moria Black Shields, Moria Black Shield Drummers, Warg Marauders, Moria Goblin Prowlers, Bat Swarms, Cave Trolls, and Dwellers in the Dark. And the profile for Cave Trolls have already been featured. I believe it's in the Angmar list, actually, so look for the previous episode of this series to have a look-see on the Cave Troll. So, let's continue with Moria. The army bonus for Moria is as follows. We cannot get out. They are coming. Friendly Moria Goblin models involved in a fight where their opponent is trapped receive a bonus of +1 to their fight value. So it's a good thing to have lots of models with this army, obviously. So, let's start off, as always, in the right order with the heroes of Moria. First up we have the Balrog for 350 points, a hero of legend. He has a might of 0, a will of 10, and a fate of 0, and the reason for those peculiar values will be featured shortly. His move is 6, but he has flying, so it's not really an issue. He has fight 10/3+, strength 9, defense 9, 4 attacks, 10 wounds, and 7 courage. And he is armed with a giant flaming sword and a fire lash. The fire lash has the active ability. This is a throwing weapon with a range of 8 inches and a strength of 7. Additionally, a model that is hit by this weapon and not slain is dragged directly towards and into base contact with the Balrog, even over intervening models or terrain. If the model cannot be placed where it should be placed, instead place it in base contact with the Balrog as close as possible to the position it should have been in. If, for whatever reason, the model cannot be placed anywhere in base contact, then it is not moved at all. He has the following special rules: Ancient Evil, Fearless, Resistant to Magic, and Causes Terror. He has the passive Goblin Mastery rule, which means that friendly Moria Goblin models within 12 inches of the Balrog automatically pass courage tests. He also has the passive Flame of Udun. The Balrog is never considered to be unarmed, and any model that suffers a wound from the Balrog strikes, even if it is subsequently saved by fate and not slain, must roll a d6. On a 6, the model suffers the Set Ablaze special rule. Additionally, the Balrog is immune to any fire-based attacks or special rules, such as a Dragon's Breath Fire or Set Ablaze special rule. He also finally has the passive Demon of the Ancient World passive rule. The Balrog may call a heroic combat each turn without the need to expend a point of might, and that's why you have 0 might. Additionally, special rules and strikes that would slay the Balrog instantly, such as Drain Soul or Morgul Blade, will only inflict half of the Balrog's starting wounds rather than all of them. So let's move on. Next up we have Durbus, Goblin King of Moria, for 70 points, and he is a hero of valor. He has a might of 3, a will of 2, and a fate of 2. 4 fight/5+, 4 strength, 6 defense, 2 attacks, 2 wounds, and 4 courage, and is armed with heavy armor and sword, and can do the following special heroic actions: Heroic Resolve, Strike, Defense, apart from the universal ones, of course. He also has the Cave Dweller special rule and the active Iron Fist rule. His Standfast has a range of 12 inches. Next up we have Groblog for 50 points, a hero of fortitude. His might is 3, His will is 1 and his fate is 1. A fight of 3/5+, a strength of 4, a defense of 6, 2 attacks, 2 wounds, and 3 courage. He's armed with armor, sword, and the Mithril Crown. The Mithril Crown has the passive rule. At the start of each fight phase before heroic actions are declared, roll a d6 on a 4+. All friendly Moria Goblin models within 3 inches of Balrog gain +1 to fight until the end phase of the turn. Quite handy. And he can do the special heroic actions, strike and defense, and also has the Cave Dweller special rule. Next up we have Drusag, the Beast Caller, for 90 points. He's a hero of fortitude. He has 2 might, 5 will, and 2 fate. He is fight 3, strength 3, defense 4, 1 attack, 2 wounds, and 4 courage, and is armed with armor, dagger, and a staff, and has the Cave Dweller special rule, and has the passive Master of the Dark Wild, which means that he may include wild wargs, fell wargs, giant spiders, and bat swarms in his warband, as if they were part of the same army list. This does not count as allying. Additionally, all friendly bat, warg, and spider models within 12 inches of him may use his courage value instead of their own. Drusag's Fury medical power will affect him and any model that is either a bat, spider, or warg model, and he can do the following medical powers: Enraged Beast 12 inches on a 3+, and Fury, as I said, with the previously mentioned special rules, on a 3+. Next up we have Ashrak for 55 points, a hero of fortitude, a fight of 2/5+, strength 3, defense 4, 1 attack, 2 wounds, and 4 courage, and has 1 might, 4 will, and 1 fate. And he's armed with armor and 2-handed staff, and he can do heroic channeling, has the Cave Dweller special rule, and Death Touch passive rule. Any model that wounds or is wounded by him in a fight must roll a d6 on a 4+. They suffer the effect of the Paralyze medical power. He also has the passive Poison Blood special rule. That means that he may include giant spiders in his warband as if they were part of the same armor list. This does not count as allying. Additionally, any giant spiders in your force may be upgraded to Venom Black Spiders at the cost of +2 points a model. Venom Black Spiders gain the Venom special rule. He also has the passive Spiderkin. Only spider models may benefit from Ashrak's Standfast or heroic actions. Additionally, Ashrak may only target spider models with his Shroud of Shadows medical power. And he can do the following medical powers: Fury Spider on a 3+, and Shroud of Shadows, range 12 on a 4+. And then we have generic heroes: Moria Goblin Captains for 35 points, hero of fortitude, 2/1/1, fight 3, strength 4, defense 5, 2 attacks, 2 wounds, 3 courage, armor and sword included, can do the heroic march, and can take an orc bow and a shield for 5 points each. And also is a Cave Dweller, obviously. Then we have the Shamans for 45 points, minor heroes, 1/3/1 for heroics, 2 fight, 3 strength, 4 defense, 1 attack, 2 wounds, and 3 courage. Armor and spear included. Heroic channeling for heroic actions. Cave Dweller, of course. Fury Moria Goblin on a 3+ for medical powers, and Transfix, range 12 on a 5+. And then we have Moria Black Shield Captain, 45 points, hero of fortitude, 2/1/1, fight 3, strength 4, defense 6, 2 attacks, 2 wounds, 4 courage, heavy armor and 2-handed sword included. Heroic march, no options for any other gear. Cave Dweller and Hatred Dwarf special rules. Moria Black Shield Captains, 50 points, minor heroes, 1/3/1 for heroics, 2 fight, 3 strength, 4 defense, 1 attack, 2 wounds, 3 courage, armor and staff included. Heroic channeling for action. Cave Dweller special rule, medical powers as follows: Shatter, 12 inches on a 3+, Tremor, 6 inches on a 5+. Then we can also take a Dragon, 250 points, heroes of valor, 3/3/3 for heroics, fight 7, strength 7, defense 7, 4 attacks, 7 wounds, 4 courage, and a move of 6, but you can take fly as an option. He's armed with claws and teeth. He can do the following heroic actions: channeling, strike, strength, and defense. And he can take up to 2 of the following options: Breathe Fire for 50 points, Fly for 50 points, Tough Hide for 50 points, and Worm Tongue for 50 points. And they mean the following: Fly is quite obviously, the dragon gains the Fly special rule. Breathe Fire: each time a dragon breathes fire, it expends a point of will. Treat the dragon's fire breath as a bow with a range of 12 inches. If the shot hits, the target on all models, friend and foe within 2 suffers a strength 10 hit, and the model that suffers any unsaved wounds, fate may still be taken, from a dragon's breath is automatically slain. The tough hide means that the wounds and defense goes up to 9 rather than 7, so that's quite strong, since it raises both stats, but it's 50 points. Worm Tongue, a dragon with this ability can spend single point of will each turn without reducing its own store of will, so long as the will points is used to cast one of the following magical powers. The controlling player may still spend extra will points to increase the number of dice in the usual way. Transfix on a 3+ range 12, so quite strong to be able to throw that for free each round. Compel on a 4+ range 12. Has these special rules: Harbinger of Evil, Monstrous Charge, Resistant to Magic, Survival Instinct, and Terror. Then we can also take the lesser option of a dragon, which means a Cave Drake for 150 points, Minor Heroes, 1 free 1 for Rogues, 6 fights, 7 strength, defense 7, 4 attacks, 6 wounds, and 4 courage. With a move of 8, they cannot take flight. They are armed with claws and teeth as well, and can do heroic strength for action. Has these special rules: Monstrous Charge, Mountain Dweller, Resistant to Magic, Terror, and Woodland Creature. Has the active rule: Protect the Nest. At the start of the game, before any models have deployed, the Cave Drake's controlling player may place a single 25mm nest mark per Cave Drake anywhere on the board, whilst within 3 inches of the nest marker, a Cave Drake gains the Fearless special rules. And has the brutal power attack Gaping Maw. Instead of striking normally, the Cave Drake may select a single man-sized or smaller model involved in the same fight to attempt to swallow whole. Roll a d6 on a 3+, the model is swallowed whole and is removed as a casualty. Fate rolls may be made against the brutal power attack as if it has caused a wound, but if a model fails to save with this fate, it will be slain. Then we have the Watcher in the Water, 200 points, independent hero, 1/5/1 for heroics, 4 move, 6 fight 3+ on the range, 6 strength, defense 6, 6 attacks, 6 wounds, and 3 courage. Is armed with tentacles and can do heroic strength for heroic action. Harbinger of Evil, Resistant to Magic, and Terror are his special rules, and quite a few active and passive rules as well. From the Deep, active rule: the Watcher in the Water can never be part of another hero's model's warband. When you deploy your army, do not deploy the Watcher in the Water on the board. Instead, keep it to the side for later. During each priority phase, after the priority has been rolled, announce if you would like the Watcher to arrive, and if yes, roll a d6. On a 3+, the Watcher is ready to enter play. Once you have declared the Watcher is ready to enter, you must roll during each priority phase thereafter until it's available. When the Watcher is ready to enter play, immediately place it anywhere on the battlefield. It can displace models. Move any displaced models the minimum distance possible so that they are 1 inch away from the Watcher, or as close as this situation will allow. In this situation, players take it in turns to displace models, starting with the Watcher's controlling player. This may create some odd situations, but represents the Watcher's bursting forth, scattering warriors, both friend and foe alike. The Watcher cannot charge on the turn it arrives, and also has the passive Many Tentacles special rule. When the Watcher is reduced to 3 or less wounds remaining, its attacks are also reduced to 3. And the active Tentacles rules: in the shoot phase, the Watcher may make d6 shooting attacks. These attacks have range of 6 and strength of 3 and never require in the way rolls. Any models hit by tentacle but not slain is immediately dragged into base contact with the Watcher by the shortest route possible, even over the heads of other models. Models moved in this way do not count as have been charged. If there is no way to fit the model in base contact, it's not moved at all. The Watcher can still make these shooting attacks even if it is engaged in contact. Quite strong. Passive Water Dwell rule: the Watcher is not slowed when entering water feature. In fact, whilst within one, its move value is doubled, and it always counts as having rolled a 6 on the swim chart. Additionally, if the Watcher charges whilst within a water feature, it gains the Monstrous Charge special rule. And lastly, it has the brutal power attack Dragged to the Depths. Instead of striking normally, if the Watcher is in the water feature, it can select a single man-sized or smaller model involved in the same fight and then roll a d6. On a 3+, that model suffers a wound. Fate rolls can be made as usual. If the wound is not saved, the model is dragged to the depths and immediately slain. The Watcher is then removed from the board, and its controlling players will start to roll for the Watcher to re-arrive, as described in From the Deep special rule. on this page. Then finally we arrive at the warriors, so quite a lot of heroic options for this warband. Moria Goblin warriors come in at a whooping 4 points. They have a move of 5 and a meager fight of 2/5+. 3 strength, 4 defense, 1 attack, 1 wound, 2 courage. Armed with armor and sword, but can take bow, shield and spears. Orc bows, that is. And that's the Cave Dweller special rule. So in the best possible scenario they can have defense 5. Moria Black shields are a little bit more expensive. They are 8 points. There the heavy armor, sword and shield is included, with a defense of 6 and a fight of 2/5+. 3 strength, 1 attack, 1 wound, 3 courage. And can have the option to take spears. They are also cave dwellers, of course, but also has the hatred dwarf special rule. Then we have Moria Goblin drums, which includes 2 Moria Goblin drummers and 1 drum for 75 points. The drum itself has 3 wounds and 10 defense. And the war gear included here is armor and clubs. It also has the Cave Dweller special rule, of course, and quite a lot of special rules here. Passive rule, destroying the drum. The drum can be shot and struck normally and has a defense of 10 and 3 wounds. If it is reduced to 0 wounds, it is destroyed and cannot be played anymore. The drum has no control zone, and any enemy model that spends a full turn in base contact with the drum without doing anything else, such as shooting, using medical power or fighting in combat, may immediately destroy the drum, as described above. Passive rule, take up the drum. If either of the drummers are slain, they may pass on their war gear to any other unengaged Moria Goblin warriors within 1 inch. Immediately replace the model with a slain drummer. Models that take up the drummer's war gear will automatically drop anything they are carrying. Then we have the active drums in the deep special rule. A Moria Goblin drum takes up 2 spaces within the warband and counts as 2 models towards the army. It is deployed in the same way as the rest of the warband. For the drum to be played, at least 1 Moria Goblin drummer must have started their turn in base contact with the drum and also not be engaged in a fight. When the drum is being played, it has the following effects. All fights within 18 inches of 1 or more drums, that also includes at least 1 friendly Moria Goblin model, may re-roll a single d6 for their dual roll. Note that this is not cumulative with the effects of a banner. All friendly Moria Goblin models on the battlefield add 1 to their courage value, and all enemy models suffer a -1 penalty to their courage value. Note that this is not cumulative with other rules that confer similar modifiers. The drum is a heavy object, and as such is moved exactly like one. The drum cannot be played in a turn in which the drum is a heavy object, and as such it is moved exactly like one. The drum cannot be played in a turn in which it has moved. Then we have Moria Black Shield drummers, which also includes 2 drummers and a drum for 75 points. But it works quite a lot differently from the previously mentioned drum. It includes 2 drummers, 1 with drum, and has the Cave Dweller and Hatred for Dwarf special rule, and has the active rule, run and drum. The drum is considered to be playing as long as the drummer and the drum bearer are in base contact with each other. And also has the doom active rule. When the drum is being played, it has the following effects. All fights within 12 inches of 1 or more drums that also include at least 1 friendly Moria Goblin model may re-roll a single d6 for their dual roll. Note that this is not cumulative with the effects of a banner. All friendly Moria Goblin models on the battlefield add 1 to their courage value, and all enemy models suffer a -1 penalty to their courage value. Note that this is not cumulative with other rules that confer similar modifiers. And has the passive take up the drum rule. If either the drummer or the drum bearer is slain, they may pass on their war gear to any other unengaged Moria Black Shields within 1. Immediately replace the model with a slain drummer or drum bearer. Models that take up the drummer's war gear will automatically drop any that they are carrying. Then we have Prowlers for 7 points. Fight 3, Strength 3, 4 defense, 1 attack, 1 wound, 2 courage, armed with armor, 2-handed axe and a throwing dagger. So a little bit higher fight value there, but no option to have higher defense. So let's call them glass cannons for all intents and purposes for this army. And as the Cave Dwellers and Backstabbers special rule. Then we also can take Bat Swarms for 35 points. They are fight 1, 3 strength, defense 3, 2 attacks, 4 wounds and 2 courage. Armed with claws and teeth, and has the Blinding Swarm passive rule. The fight value of any models engaged in combat with the Bat Swarm is halved, rounding down. So, slightly makes up for the atrocious fight value. Then we have Warg Marauder for 30 points, which includes 3 Moria Goblins on a single Warg. The Goblins have the Moria Goblin stat block really, and the Warg has the following stat. Move 10, fight 3/5+, move 10, fight 3, 4 strength, 4 defense, 1 attack, 1 wound, 2 courage. A Warg Marauder is an interesting cavalry model in that it has 3 Moria Goblins riding upon a single Warg, 1 with a shield and 2 with a bow. This model is treated the same as any other cavalry model with the following exceptions. Whilst the Goblin with the shield is still alive and mounted upon the Warg, all of the parts of the cavalry model gain the bonus of +1 to their defense. The Warg Marauder only counts as one model towards an army's bow limit. The war gear included is armor, sword, and either shield or orc bow on the Moria Goblins, and claw and teeth for the Warg. Special rule: on the hunt, active. A Warg Marauder can always fire an orc bow shot from each goblin with an orc bow that is alive upon the back of the Warg, even if it has moved its full movement or is engaged in a fight. Passive: Lethal Union. Whilst the goblins remain mounted upon the Warg, the entire model gains the Terror special rule and adds a bonus of +1 to its courage value. Additionally, in combat, a Warg Marauder may make an additional attack for each Moria Goblin after the first that is still mounted upon the Warg, so long as they did not shoot during the shoot phase. Then, bringing up the rear is Dweller in the Dark, which is kind of the Wish version of a Balrog. For 75 points, Spirit Monster, Infantry, and Warrior. Move 8, fight 7, 5 strength, 5 defense, 3 attacks, 3 wounds, and 7 courage. Armed with claws and teeth, resistant to magic, and causes terror. Has the active Murderous Power special rule. Whenever a Dweller in the Dark slays an enemy model in combat, it regains a single wound lost early in the battle. Rend is the only brutal power attack that allows a Dweller to regain wounds in this manner. So, there we have it, Moria. You want to include a lot of warriors here to trap your opponents, to get that +1 to the fight value, which we sorely need. So breaking this army shouldn't be super easy, because we should be able to field a lot of models. So yeah, have fun with playing Moria. I personally probably wouldn't like to paint up as many similar looking goblins, but hey, to each their own. So if you have enjoyed this brief walkthrough here, please remember to like the video, comment on your favorite army, subscribe if you haven't already, and ring that bell button as to not miss out any further content for Middle-earth strategy battle game and Worm Underworlds and other things as well. So without further ado, take care, bye.